Do you agree that the Green Party is the party for thirst trap baddies?
If thirst trap baddies include grey-haired nanas, yes.
I dare you to say no.
You're looking at... There is no other way that we reach the Aotearoa that takes care of all of us instead of just big corporations and just the super rich. Then there is no way. There is an Aotearoa for all of us that Te Tiriti upholds.
No mai, haere mai. So, tēnā kōrua, wāhine mā. Do you agree that the Green Party is the party for thirst trap baddies?
Okay, if thirst trap baddies include grey-haired nanas, yes.
Pēhei, whakaana koutou. So what more can we see in terms of that campaigning style from the Green Party?
Creative-led, locally-led initiative from local electorates.
And what's the party's position? I guess there's been a lot of kōrero, right, around, potentially the objectification of Indigenous bodies for political purposes. What's your response to that?
Valid. The wānanga is valid, absolutely. We need to hold the space for that wānanga. Those are valid concerns that we raise because we are absolutely aware of the colonisation of our bodies and of the exploitation of our images. And so that's a valid thing to hold, and I particularly acknowledge the wahine leadership voices who have been coming forward with that. At the same time, we understand too that we are talking about people who are needing to cut through to an audience that probably isn't most of us. It is an audience that are not politically engaged in all of the tried and true strategies that we have tried so far. And it is fronted by people who are taking control of their own mana motuhake for how they present themselves to the world.
E mihi ana kia kōrero mō kōrero I whaiwahi mai ki tēnei hui o tātou. O te rā tēnei pai kōrero. Ko te pātai kia koe, Chloe, the slogan for this campaign is for all of us. What does that mean?
So I think it's about, we were just actually reflecting upon it, reading, Justin, your speech drafts that we got a hold of a few days ago. And it reminded me of something that I spoke about at King Tuhetia's final korone hana that I had the privilege of speaking at, in which we were talking about how solidarity doesn't require us to be the same. It simply requires us to understand that all of us live in this world and that there are things that we have in common. And when we can unify to understand the barriers that all of us face, but also the solutions, then we're finally getting somewhere. And I think that's all about understanding at the base level, all of us breathe the same air. We all have to have kaya that comes from the same soil. We have to drink the same water. We all need housing. We all need access to education and to job opportunities. So it's about those basic fundamental things that we will fight for, not only for ourselves, not only for the people that we know and love, but also the people that we don't know, and dare I say it, even those we don't like. That's the point of human rights. And that's the point of running a campaign that's for all of us.
So I guess the next follow-up is, so where does Te Tiriti o Waitangi fit into that?
I mean, I'm very happy to talk about that. So we'll take turns. Where does Te Tiriti o Waitangi is the kind of foundation and the bedrock of our party in terms of, so for those who are unfamiliar, obviously our name is green, our colour is green, but if you look into the kind of po that are the charter principles of our party, underneath all of that is a commitment to honouring the partnership of Te Tiriti o Waitangi, which we understand to be basically a commitment between peoples to look after each other and the planet that we live on. And from that flows all of the other principles: ecological wisdom, recognition of the fact that resources are finite, even those resources that do regenerate need time and space and some planning, Shane Jones, in order to regenerate. If you accept that first principle, the next one flows relatively logically, which is social responsibility. If we understand those resources are finite, then we need to share Otherwise, they are going to be depleted, and some people are going to miss out, especially in their opportunity to participate in this thing that we like to call democracy. From that, appropriate decision-making, devolving decision-making powers down to the level where it actually affects people. And fourthly and finally, non-violence. I mean, we're hippies, we don't like going to war. You'll see us on the front lines of many a protest. But I think it's actually about how you create a system that doesn't just assimilate people into it and reject those who are seen as different, but actually a system that doesn't generate conflict, so creates that space to deal with difference of opinion and diversity.
It's cool that kei te kōrero koe mo te mahi ngātahi, and I guess we're talking about tino rangatiratanga as well. Many iwi in this room, I mean, you're looking at the iwi chairs of all the iwi, well, most of the iwi in te ao Māori, ne? Some iwi, including Waikato Tainui, Tūwharetoa, Ngaitahu, continue to exercise their kaitiakitanga over fresh water. How are you guys going to strengthen that hononga between iwi and their taonga, but also allow more iwi to be able to exercise their tino rangatiratanga over their wai Māori?
Well, I think just going on from what Chloe was saying about what does for all of us mean for Te Tiriti is really relevant to what you're just asking me as well. And making note that this year we are celebrating 24 years of the party, our party, fighting to put Te Tiriti as part of our founding kaupapa. And so what that means is the only way that we are going to achieve tiriti justice, climate justice, social justice, tiaki taiao, is by upholding te tiriti. There is no other way. There is no other way that we reach the Aotearoa that takes care of all of us instead of just big corporations and just the super rich. Then there is no way. There is an Aotearoa for all of us that te tiriti upholds.
Supplementary question. So, that's just cool. Let's say in a perfect world, ne? Amazing world, the left side gets into government, ne? And you get everything that you want, beautiful. What specifically can you do that our iwi can go home and go, this is going to be an awesome kaupapa i te whānau, we need to get onto this because they're going to do bang, 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 bang.
It's just so much. It's just so much. Well, let's go back to Wai, for example. We announced our policy to change the rules, fix the rules so that we care for water, so that us and our mokopuna can have water that is safe to drink, swim and fish from for generations to come. We announced that at the beautiful Rāpaki out at Rāpaki Marae, and acknowledge that they have one of the first mātaitai areas where they are sort of restricting commercial activity to protect their wai, and also are connecting mai te maunga ki te moana, the on land and the awa restoration work that flows into the moana. Those are the very policies and the funding and the authority for it that the Green will support, because that ends up benefiting all of us. And so those are locally led, particularly hapu and iwi-led restoration projects are exactly what the Greens would fund and invest in.
Kei te whakai tātou?
Kei te whakai koutou.
He hao tātou whakaaro ki ngā kōrero kaputa? Ai, ka pai.
Quite good.
Ka pai. Marama he nui ngā kōrero mō te housing. I roto i ngā iwi i konei tēnei wā. Matua Willie's looking to build 200 a year, I think. A few challenges, access to capital being one of them. He hanga mahi. Kei mua ia koutou, he hanga ngā panonitanga. Ka whakaungia koutou.
I have
Kia o ngā wawata.
Yeah, ka pai. Willie, ever since I stopped being a minister, I stopped getting all your emails. Kei te pai. I know, I'll get them again soon. I know.
Lucky you.
I'll get them again soon. I know it. Don't worry. Look, I have to acknowledge in our last term of government with Greens and Labour working together, we saw the biggest ever investment into Māori-led housing. We know that we will continue that. That is actually the solution and the answer to the country's housing, homelessness issues and solution is actually making sure we continue. So it's actually in our election priorities, in our policies, is direct funding, not funding that causes you to compete with non-Māori providers, but direct ring-fence specific funding to Māori-led housing, absolutely.
So you have candidates contesting the Māori seats. Why should those here who are enrolled in the Māori electorates vote for the Green candidates?
I'm really proud of particularly of our wahine standing across Māori electorate. So we've got the incredible Huhana in Te Tai Tokiro. We've got Florence Te Haere in Tāmaki Makaurau. We've got Tanya Waikato in Waiariki, Heather Te Ao Skipworth in Ikaro Rāwhiti, and Dr. Lisa Ten Moringa for Te Waipounamu. And this is intentional. We know that the future of not just Aotearoa, but worldwide leadership is brown and it's wahine. And so we realise, because, you know, you're looking at part of the concept...
I dare you to say no.
Well, you're looking at... You're good. I just got to say that, yeah. But you're looking at the Greens' commitment to Te Tiriti in our constitution ensures that we will always have at least one tangata whenua co-leader, and that is now established in our constitution. But actually, as you can see, it can be two wahine, because that is constitutional as well, that it does not have to be two different genders. It can be wahine. So on that, we're proud to put up wahine who are dedicated to their communities, who are proudly kaupapa Māori, who are understanding that the Green Party, tikanga and kaupapa, upholds who we are as wahine Māori, and they're putting themselves out there actually to put our solutions on the table for our people, and that's all we can ask for, is the support for them. If you think they are the best representative, and the party vote is what we are primarily also asking for.
Kia ora. I'm pretty keen to bring everyone in e te whānau. And also, you know, kia kōrero tātou manuhiri, kia wānanga tahi tātou, and this can be a two-way discussion. We can have, like, actually supplementary and supplementary times two, whatever the next word is. So, mena raini he pātai kei konei. Does anyone have a question for our manuhiri?
Just in terms of economic development, pātai tahu is a big part of every iwi. Our people in good jobs can afford te pata me te parawa I rungi te tepu. So what is the green? I mean, ko mōhio ke tātou ronganui koutou mo te tiaki te taiao, hoi no tēnei me te ohanga, kei te pehera te pāti kākāriki.
We look after the tile, but yeah, affordable living as well. So, I mean, our overarching election slogan is for all of us, but the three kind of sub-branches of that are affordable bills, or affordable living, healthy nature, and honest politics. And on that third one, we can park that to the side, but you can see just how much lobbying and corporate influence is, you know, pervaded throughout the legislative regime over the last 2.5 years. And I think that actually offers a stark contrast to what it is that we see as our job in terms of serving as the Green Party. One of the observations that I'd also make to that effect is, and I mean no shade whatsoever, but my experience with the legacy parties, that being the blue team and the red team, is that there does kind of seem to be a bit of an air of, well, it'll be our turn next. So there's not necessarily all too much thinking about getting in on the ground and working with people to actually try and shift the aspirations of how far we can actually go as a country when you're just merely taking turns as to who gets to lead the government. To that effect, we've heard loud and clear all across the country, and actually I was in Tokoroa with Tamitha, her hometown, when the pulp and paper mill was closing down, and she rallied together all of the workers and the unions and tried to get a solution on the table there, particularly for exorbitant energy prices. And it was clear that 40 years of this trickle-down economic way of thinking about things is failing our people on the ground. That has basically been a succession of governments taking their hand off the wheel of the economy and just going, the private market's going to sort it out. Clearly that's not working. What we need is industrial planning or industrial strategy. That means us as a country deciding where are our deficits and how do we actually want to plug those holes, which looks like workforce planning, but also investing meaningfully in the industries that are necessary to take us into the future. That is what economic development is supposed to be. So you'll see this reflected in our jobs policy coming out shortly, where we make explicit how we can actively invest in ourselves as a country, as opposed to continually hemorrhaging money offshore as we are at the moment, as well as obviously 200 plus incredibly talented New Zealanders every single day.
Kia ora.
Kia ora.
just while the mic's on. I wanted to particularly ask around the health and social sector. Quite frankly, we, particularly in Ngāti Porou, suffer quite badly in those areas with that little pimple on the side of the fish, and we just get a dollop. And so part of my thinking is, how can we break down the system, because it's geared to look after itself? How do we break down that system to invite externals in for the now, whilst we progress the implementation of homegrown medical practitioners particularly?
Kia ora, and I think that's Ngāti Porou talking to Ngāti Porou, so kia ora. Hey, look, let me just firstly make one thing really clear. This government's social investment agency has got the principles wrong. Because any social investment has to come up and support what is already happening in communities, cannot cut across. And I've been really upfront publicly already that in my opinion, what the agenda behind this actually is to go towards some hand-picked favourites and not necessarily to invest in the already good stuff, researched, impactful, working stuff that is happening on the ground, especially and including iwi, health, social service agencies. If you're going to talk about social investment, how does that not automatically mean investing and putting the funding and support towards the very people making the difference right now? So for us, social investment is Te Tiriti-led. It is making sure that we are getting the funding and support to the people doing the mahi right now and showing that it works. It also has to be, you can't say that you are interested in social investment while doing things like criminalising homelessness, because instead the investment should not just be in criminalising legislation, but actually housing and support. That just seems to me just so flying in the face of what they're trying to do on one hand, but still trying to be tough on crime on the other hand. They do not match. So social investment is Te Tiriti investment.
Ai mo te katoa.
Kia ora. Now, just so you know, Matua, speaking on the mic is like a Willy Wonka gold card. You only get one of them. Yeah. So...
Whakaweto.
All right. Now we got, everyone's going, kia ora. All right. E haere ana ki konei. Matua moka.
Ngāti Manuhiri.
Tēnā kōrua, ngā mihi mana ki a kōrua. Let's take it for granted you're in power. Tell me the three primary industries that you would support as a Green Party that would lift the fiscal and GDP of the country. Leaving aside the best human resources ourselves, Māori first and foremost, and people, putting that aside, what would you commercially tell a country to invest in, and how would you do that?
So the first thing I want to do is just start with the notion of GDP that you had in your question, and just really actually want to unpack that. Because what are we talking about when we're talking about growth, right? Oftentimes we're using that synonymous with GDP. GDP used to be called Gross National Product, was invented by an economist in the US called Simon Kuznets. He took it to the US Congress in the 1930s and he was like, hey guys, here's a really good way to measure economic transactions inside of the economy, but do not use that as a measure of what he called the welfare and we now call the well-being of your people. Because GDP can go up when there are really bad things that happen to us. GDP went up off the back of the Auckland anniversary floods and Cyclone Gabrielle, because there had to be economic transactions in order to undo those social ills. Same goes with every other state of emergency, with people in car crashes and all of the bad things, right? So we need to, I think, reconceptualize what the growth is that we are talking about. What we are talking about in terms of the growth that we are aiming for as the Greens is the growth of the health of our nature, the growth of the health and the happiness and the welfare and the well-being of our people, the growth of opportunity, seriously. So that's where we need to actively be making that investment. So to your question as to what those areas look like, they do look like investing in jobs for nature. They do look like rebuilding our infrastructure, which again can actually not work against nature, but with it. We're seeing this in some of the incredible mahi that's been put forward with the likes of climate adaptation and seeing the opportunity for nature-based solutions. And I dare say there is also amazing opportunity with food production if we work with nature as opposed to against it.
One of the
Just a
most...
supplementary to that.
Yeah. I'll just, Matua, one of the most telling examples for me of how a GDP sort of accounting for growth just does not fit who we are as Te Ao Māori is the fact that our beautiful, ancient, generations-old kauri tree do not feature on a balance sheet until they are cut down and dead. And that does not fit with how Te Ao Māori understands and values our economy.
Kia ora. Thank you for that explanation. I heard you once before. We'll give that, and thank you very much, Chloe. But primarily, what are the industries that you would invest in? Give me three of them.
So I just said the environment. There are jobs to be made in the environment. Would you like to?
No, carry on.
Okay. In infrastructure and in our manufacturing capacity. Because and also actually in electricity and in energy generation. So all of these things are ultimately interconnected.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Kia ora tātou. I want to fire a shot here. Ngāpuhi, mani tahere.
Beautiful.
Kia ora marama, korua tahi. And I want to just be a bit provocative in my question and cut to the chase. It's around the Māori fisheries settlement, bottom trawling position. So thank you for declaring your position. For us as Ngāpuhi, it's a main source of our income, obviously unsettled. It's what we've been told, if the total ban comes into effect, 80% of our revenue. And so really want to be clear with you and test your treaty, embedding Te Tiriti into everything you do.
Yep.
Around, is your party prepared to reduce the value of treaty settlements, Māori fisheries, assets in pursuit of environmental policy? And if so, what does that say about your Te Tiriti or Waitangi stance?
We can uphold both. We can and absolutely commit to upholding both. So, yes, we have a position that, well, actually the starting position is mō ngā mokopuna te take, te taiao. You know, our seas are suffering. There's not really any debate about that. We are losing our ecosystems and our native species, and we need to address that. We need to be honest about that. So that's our starting point. We have got a position that we need to phase out the most destructive fishing methods, including bottom trawling. Now, where we say we can do both, protecting taiao and upholding Te Tiriti settlements, is that we are very clear that we need to do whatever it takes to uphold our commitments to Te Tiriti settlements and ongoing Te Tiriti partnership is paramount. So we know that there is wānanga to be had about phasing out, about supporting industry to change to more sustainable methods, about what it would take to uphold those settlements in light of needing to protect our oceans for mokopuna to come.
So, hei tāpiri ki tāu pātai, bro, we need to stop that, ka pai. And as he said, that's this 80% of their income there. How can we, āwhina Ngāpuhi, this is the largest iwi in terms of numbers, ne? How can we help them to recoup those costs or go into another industry? What else can they do? Get into?
Yep, and without preempting wānanga before the wānanga has been held.
No one's going to see this.
I've learned that the hard way. I've learned that the hard way. But that's what I was just saying before, is we've been very clear. Same with agriculture, for example, when we talk about lowering synthetic nitrogen fertiliser and lowering nitrate levels in our water because we all deserve to have fresh and good, safe water, we are clear that it requires investment to support farmers and people to move to better practices. So we don't just set the rules, we understand that just transition requires justice in the transition. So that comes with the working with, the partnering, the wānanga, and the support to transition so that our people aren't left worse off. Totally understood, yeah.
Rānira.
Tēnā kōrua, Rānira Proctor, Ngāti Manuhiri. I just have a solution for you to consider on the back of the question of money here. We've been talking about energy and the capitalisation of energy. We have a great concern that corporates will move directly into the green capitalist system and undercut the tribal authority that we're establishing to grow capital to invest into our iwi and our aspirations. How will the Green Party ensure that the tribal authorities that you have before you will have direct say and decision-making powers across the next green evolution in the economy?
So there's kind of a few different component parts in there. One is about energy and about energy infrastructure and about who actually owns that energy infrastructure. And then I guess the next is actually just a broader question about partnership and what that looks like. So in terms of energy infrastructure, actually in our energy plan that we released a few weeks ago, I don't remember what happened yesterday, we were in Parliament. We explicitly, in our energy policy, had put aside $200 million specifically for community-based projects, which includes solarising and battery packs on marae, also tens of millions of dollars, particularly for papakāinga housing, recognising again that this is about energy sovereignty and also about energy resilience. All of those things lend themselves as well to far greater resilience in the changing climate. So that's about ownership of that infrastructure, which actually takes you off of the grid, which is currently increasingly corporatized, and those profits are the things that are driving up the cost of living for whānau. Then in terms of the mahi that we have to do, in terms of actually making sure that there is a genuine partnership moving forward, here I would actually just take that thread of climate adaptation as a specific example. So you may be aware that this government's Minister Simon Watts has finally decided to table what he calls the climate adaptation legislation in just the last few days or the last week or so. I very much encourage everyone to go look at that legislation because there is a glaring absence of commitment to partnership with Te Iwi Māori and with Te Tiriti or Waitangi. It's completely absent from there. This is something which is also flagged in the Select Committee, Finance and Expenditure Committee reports from about a year or two ago, in which I was our member and was consistently fighting, particularly government members, to have any recognition at all of Te Iwi Māori and the partnership that already happens on the ground. I mean, we know that when the roads are closed, marae are open. And we heard this from all of the legitimate submitters, but also from the Ombudsman, the most apolitical, non-partisan entity that you could imagine making a submission to Select Committee. There is also a glaring absence of funding for local authorities to make these plans, and a lack of recognition about the fact that these things are already happening. Just look at the likes of the Tairāwhiti transition case that the government refused to fund and back in. So for us, this is just about going, this mahi is already happening on the ground. How do we best resource, acknowledge and recognise it and uphold that in the mahi that we get to do in the privilege of the space of the beehive?
This is awesome. I feel a little bit like I've just sucked a massive sip of a large Coke. It'll just like getting a bit of brain freeze. Wow. Hold on, we're going to wrap up. We're going to wrap. White Māori. Fully iced.
Safe drinking water. Safe drinking water.
Pātai whakamutunga. Ai mua taku tuku ki taku rangatira, ki taku tuakana kia Justin. Today, we had our beautiful tuahine from Te Kāhui Raunga, Kiri Kōwhai, speak today around a lack of engagement, really, from our rangatahi. And when I say rangatahi, I mean my age and down. Yay, hey.
Rangatahi adjacent.
Rakatahi. I'm about 40. Hey, here we go. That's us. About 100,000 people. Now, I'm sure you fellas have got your own strategy how to get them to vote.
They
That's
do.
you fellas.
The
But
kiddies.
what I'm looking for, because you fellas are quite an innovative party, you're always trying to move us, forward and new and improved ways. What is something that our iwi can do? You're looking at all of the iwi Māori right here. How can we go home to make sure that we are engaging with our people, that we are engaging with our rangatahi? Because the reality is probably most of our rangatahi aren't on marae anymore. We're in different random places, new spaces, new kapahaka groups, whatever it is. What are some strategies that we can take home and get our people to vote, whether it's green, whether it's red, whether it's blue, whatever it is? How can we get them to vote?
At one point I had 6 eligible for registration teenagers in my whare last year, and it was my kids plus their friends, etc. I cooked a big, beautiful kai. I made sure it smelt and looked incredible. I put it on the table, and then I said, none of you are getting that until you register to vote. But whānau, it's wherever you are.
That's a whole lot of boil-ups.
Exactly. But it's about wherever you are. So it's your sports, your waka ama, your kapahaka, and it's about, and you know, this is where the creativity from our candidates across the motu are bringing. We've got one of our candidates in South Auckland who is an artist and a graphic artist. He sat at a table and was offering to take people, sketch people for their registration to vote. So this is where our creativity, and there are no limits to the imagination of how we are in. Oh, also, lower the voting age to 16. Fight hard for that. We support that. We want that because lower the voting age to 16.
If you vote straight away, you're going to vote for the rest of your life.
Exactly. You know that. So lower the voting age to 16. That's a policy that we support hard and want to put in place. But it's actually, we know that, yeah, sure, getting people registered, using all the creative ways is one thing. Getting them to vote, being able to offer something that inspires people enough to feel that we are even relevant, it's challenge, it's not easy. And we know that it is going to take ordinary, on-the-ground human conversations with all of us. We can't just do it alone. No one political party can do it alone. With all of us having those human conversations, asking people, are you enrolled? We can check. Let's get you sorted right now. And yeah, just on-the-ground human conversation. But I know Chloe's itching.
No, just my sole point. Look, I first was elected to Parliament when I was 23 years old, and I was asked time and time again, how do we get how do we get young people enrolled, and how do we get young people engaged in politics?
I'm not even talking about young people. I'm just talking about our iwi Māori, because I would imagine there's a whole lot of us
I think though, particularly for rangatahi, there is a tendency for those of us in positions of authority to try and figure out how they think. Why don't we just ask them how they think? And why don't we just empower and unleash them? That's my solution.
So, we're going to cap I tā tātou kaupapa I tēnei wā.
Tai hoi mui I ngā mihi, he pātai whakamutunga tāku.
Okay. He's the top dog, so we've got to...
Here we go, Tino.
With the systemic erasure of Te Tiriti, what are the priority clawbacks of Te Pāti Kākāriki if you get into power?
The Regulatory Standards Bill, in a lot of ways, was just... the Tiriti Principles Bill was a bit of a guise for the Regulatory Standards Bill to come in. But there's also, in the resource management space that we're seeing right now, and I believe you had Tina Porou speaking this morning, and so it's there are a host of... So we heard at the start of the term from iwi, who were clear that they also wanted to caution us against the pendulum impact of making sure that if you have started some good mahi, including under this government, that you're going to be able to carry on the good mahi. Ai tika puno. But there are some big ngangara bits of legislation that no one wanted, not even Paga, actually. And so we will want to repeal the laws that no one wants, that are not good for people or planet. And we've got we've talked about a few lists, but there might be a few more, Chloe, that you can...
I mean, the government's given us a hit list. Obviously, we can invert all of that. But I think that we should aim higher than that. And this is where, for us, it all comes back to constitutional reform. Yeah.
Mā kōrua ko Chloe kanui te mihi a tēnei huihuinga kia kōrua ko haramai tawhiti tēnei rā. Just want to extend our gratitude to you both. I know it's a long way to come for half an hour, but it's of huge value to our people to hear from the leadership of our political parties. Nō reira, kanui te mihi kia kōrua, homai te pakipaki e te iwi.
Kia ora.
Just a paku FYI, this video was brought to you by Te Rūnanga o Ngaitahu. E mihi ana kia koutou manaaki tiaki nei I o tātou kōrero, and to the main man, Te Haumana, Mr. Justin Tipa. Tēnā koe o tira tēnā koutou. And e te whānau, if you like this content, make sure to heart, like, subscribe, and also share away. Leave us a little bit of a comment. It's awesome. Ngā mihi.